There's so much more going on here than meets the eye. Look around the room, it's plain to see. Everyone here is seeing something magical. All eyes are on you and me. So woman, why won't you look at me? Woman, why won't you look at me? Woman, why won't you look at me? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid to love again? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid to love again? Afraid of what you're gonna see. Afraid you won't see what you wanna see. Woman, why won't you look at me? I know what's going through your mind. There's a million reasons why this won't work, so why even try? I don't know how long it's been since you've let someone in. I just know, girl, I'm not that guy. So woman, why won't you look at me? Woman, why won't you look at me? Woman, why won't you look at me? So much more going on here than meets the eye. Look around the room, it's plain to see. Everyone here is seeing something magical. All eyes are on you and me. So woman, why won't you look at me? 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 Look at me.
Susan. Oh, look at that beautiful face right there.
Hello.
See you.
I know. I can't believe I'm back with you guys together on the screen after all this time.
You know what? We are actually in it, and it's almost 2 years to the day that we met. In 4 more days, it'll be our 2-year anniversary, Susan. Can you believe it's been 2 years?
Man, I tell you, that was a memorable night. It was a memorable night.
I've got my Love Connection TV show background. That's right. You're the next contestant on Let's Make a Match. We're going to have fun today. We're so glad you guys are here. We're going to have so much fun today for all of you who are participating with Natalie and I. We have the most amazing lady with us today, Susan Hum, and I'm going to let Natalie, give her thoughts on Susan. But my thoughts on Susan, I met her at Bob Proctor's Matrix event in Toronto in March of 2019. And let me just tell you, this lady is amazing, an amazing heart. They call her the love guru. I don't know how many connections she's helped to set up, how many couples that she's worked with, how many singles that she's worked with, but Susan just has that she just got that light, that intuition, that love in her. And we're just so very blessed to know you, Susan. We're so glad you took time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us for a little while. I'm drooling
With
on
you
myself.
anytime.
I'm drooling on myself right now, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, I was like so excited when I was talking to Susan, and you know, when the three of us get together, it's it's always pretty powerful. And when I asked her, "Hey, would you want to come on?" and she's like, "Absolutely!" and I'm like, "Oh my God, yay! This will be so wonderful." But I still remember my first time when I met Susan was at a PGI event, and I still remember sitting in that lobby. And she's like, you know, I'm like, who's that? You know, she's somebody had referred to you as the love guru, right? And I'm like, oh, you know. And at the time, Susan will remember me quite well, like, love, okay, whatever. It's time for love. I'm here for I'm a businesswoman. Like, it's everything's about, you know, the next goal, the next strategy, the next, right? And who has time for love? And here I start talking to Susan, and she had me pegged like, boy, and I was like, I don't know if I love her or I hate her right now. But you were so spot on in that moment. And it's so interesting. Well, we'll speak about her story, which is pretty powerful. But it was so interesting because I had, and Susan will tell you, I was open to receiving. That's the powerful point I want to make here, is that because I was doing this work and learning this and being coached into this, my mind was already starting to open. So naturally, I wanted to hear more. I was leaning into what Susan was trying to tell me about the very thing that that I wanted, but was pretending. The ego, the paradigm was like, I don't need that. But deep down, she could feel like, no, she desperately wants love. It's so obvious, right? So
Well, listen, Natalie, before we get too much into this and get going, because we'll get going, we can't stop. We get Susan going and you going and me going, and it's going to be awesome. Listen, we want to, first of all, we just want to thank you guys for joining us. We're so excited. This is my favorite day because we get to tell our story. And I'm a singer, songwriter, entertainer, and I absolutely and I love stories. I love hearing how people met. You know, I just love a good love story, and I love our love story more than any love story I've ever heard. And it's pretty magical what's happened here. And we're just so thankful that you're all here with us today. I know that there are several of you here that want to find love in your life. And I know there's several of you here that want to rekindle the relationship that you have with your current partner. And this is what we want to do. We want to help people. And we've got one of the most incredible people in the whole wide world here with us today. And Susan is an expert in this, and we're so thankful to have you here. So I just want to welcome everybody here. We're glad you're here. It's going to be a fun next hour, and we're just so happy and grateful that you're here with us. And I just want to say welcome, Susan.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys are like the epitome of representing the work that I do. Like you guys, what you have done to connect is the epitome of what everybody should learn in terms of the micro distinctions of the levels that you have taken yourself in your own personal growth to that moment. You know, and we always look for that moment, right? It's like, what is it going to take to just go from not having to having? And it could be instantaneous, right? And so everything you guys were talking about for the last 2 days in terms of, you know, your workshop about thoughts, about what you're really saying to yourself versus what you want to be saying, you know, and closing that gap is really what is needed to make things happen in a flash, right? So what happened is when I met you, Kevin, I remember stopping you because I was watching the buzz around Kevin. Like you weren't there, Natalie, at the Matrix. The buzz was around Kevin and it was all women. I think men were falling in love with him too, but I was just watching.
Troy did. I love Troy. Where's Troy at? We should get Troy on here, man.
No, but he's all love. That's why he's in the middle of this heart. I just can't help staring at this heart around him right now. But Like seriously, Kevin, like everyone, the women were melting. The women wanted love, even if they didn't know they wanted it when you were around. It's like, it was beautiful how you were the walking blob of love. And I'm like, so now I'm starting to analyze you for a distance because I'm like, okay, what's going on? Why is he single? So I always look at, it's funny, people, the personal development has gone haywire. It kind of went the opposite way because personal development is don't focus on the negative, just focus on the positive. But the problem is we're living with the negative. Can we at least face it for just a second?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at, okay, why is Kevin single?
He needs help. He needs a lot of help.
No, you did it. The crazy thing is you did it. You had it right. Everybody else has it wrong, right? So what happens was I stopped you in the lobby. I don't know if you remember this moment. I stopped you and you didn't know who I was. And I was facilitating at that point. So I can't really influence customers or matrix, unless you're at my table, but you never came to my table. So I said to you, I said, you do realize what you're doing out there, right? And you're just looking at me like, what's going on? And I said, do you realize that when you sung on that stage and I'm watching, the lights were down, I could see energy, right? So I could see the moment you started speaking and singing, the hearts were opened and I could see light coming out of their heart, which means you have the ability to open up people's hearts because you are so free in yourself to be vulnerable, and that's the thing. It's about vulnerability. So the only thing that I saw that you might have maybe, changed over time was, why is your vision board so specific? Because that's what happens, right? When we make our list too long, or if we make our vision board too specific on love, it takes a little bit longer because you're looking for that perfect person, which you did. But think about all the time it took to get there. Right? So I think when Natalie, so Natalie is like the walking, like, she wasn't vulnerable, right? So like when you have the two contrasts sit across from one another, all it took was to unblock that one person that was your target, right? And that's what love is all about. And I just want to put a disclaimer before we go on with me interviewing both of you, because I want you to talk, because when we're in the heart of the experience, we don't know what happened on a mechanism level, so it's so hard for us to teach what we go through unless we have studied every single minute move of our heart, of our thoughts, of our brain. But I can see what happened to you too, right? So I want you guys, I'm going to draw it out of you guys so you can share it to the world, because it's so hard. Otherwise, it's like we found each other. If I had to break it down to how, I don't know. I just went through the process. Right. But I do want to put it.
Natalie, give me the screen share. I want to pull up a picture. I'm not going to pull it up right now, but I want to pull up a picture that you actually took, Susan. And I'm so glad you snapped this picture because it's something that will live with us forever. So Natalie, if you'll give me the screen share, yeah. I just want to have it handy to pull up when we get to that point where we do that.
Okay, you're the host now.
Okay, all right. So
I remember that picture. Natalie's face.
It says it all.
Well, bear with me then. Since we're talking about it, we might as well go ahead and pull it up.
You could see in that picture how part of me wanted it, and the paradigm was like, no, right?
Look at her arms. Can they be more like X?
But then my face.
I'm not shocked that you snapped that exact moment, Susan. I'm not shocked. Just the story, everything that came to this moment it's almost unbelievable as it is anyway. So I don't know why I would be surprised that you didn't get this shot. But I was across the room singing, and we'll go into more of the story in a minute. But I was across the room singing, and Natalie wouldn't make eye contact with me, and the person that was sitting in that chair where I'm at now got up. And as soon as they got up, I made a beeline before somebody could get to that spot. And Natalie's like, do not sing to me, like, anyway. So go ahead, Susan. What led up to this moment?
It's funny because this was in April. So it was basically a month and 2 weeks after I spoke to you at the lobby. And I said to you, I said, this is what you do to people with your music, with your voice, with your existence, is you open people's hearts. Never change that. And I said to you, I said, I don't know why. I feel like I need to tell you, you're going to find love. You're going to find love here in these events. So keep doing what you're doing. I didn't know you were going to find love in the paradigm. I'm not a psychic. I just know that when somebody's walking with that level of openness, that you will, and you made an intention that you will find love. So it's not like you're just vulnerable without intention. Intention is everything. I call intention is a solid affirmation. It's not just an affirmation of hoping or wishing. It's like an intention is, I'm finding love right here. And I don't care how long I have to do this. I'm finding love. And that intention is stronger than just an affirmation. It is a solid commitment to yourself that no matter what, that is who you are, that's what you want, and that's what's going to serve you. And that is the alignment that will manifest very quickly. And you need to get yourself with all these exercises that you guys have been teaching on. It's not even just about love. And the disclaimer I want to make is, before I go into the story of 6 weeks later, after that moment I said to you in the hallway, in the lobby, is I'm not here to tell people that you need to have love to be happy. If you don't want love, that's okay too, right? The only thing I'm always curious about is, so why don't you want love? I just don't understand. Maybe teach me, maybe, and that's what I think I did with Natalie. I'm not there to tell her that she needs to have love. I will never do that to somebody. You have the right to refuse whatever you want in your heart, right? But if I see that your words don't match your heart, I'm going to challenge you, right? Because if Natalie was not interested in love that moment, she sat across from me and she was brought to me by a very good friend of hers, Annie, whom I had met at another event. And I think she came after me because of my shoes, but she had Natalie there anyway. So she's like, figured, oh, we'll just kill two birds with one stone. I want to know where you got your shoes. By the way, here's my best friend. So but when Natalie goes, no, I'm good. I'm successful and I'm all that.
It's funny, Susan, though, because what a lot of people didn't realize is that when I started this, I was going through a lot, and it was so interesting. So I was doing a lot of inner work and trying to figure a lot of that out. So now I'm in the middle of a divorce. And in that moment, I had, while I was doing the work, I was writing a story about what my day. So I was always, and that's why I'm writing books. I love to write books and that sort of thing. But I started writing the story of the love life I wanted. And it was so interesting how it was all about love. And it was, a lot of it was what I'm doing right now. At the time I was in the corporate world, but writing about being an entrepreneur in the something about health and fitness. I was like, in mindset. I didn't even know what it was going to look like, but I was writing this story and I was emotionally attached to it. So I was, when Annie called me and told me about the PGI event, it was so weird to me because she calls me and I'm going to be in Mexico, and there was also a board meeting in Toronto. So I had to be there on Monday, and I was moving out of my matrimonial home, by the way, that weekend as well. So she's like, hey, do you want to go to this event? I'm like, well, that means I'd have to cut my trip short in Mexico and then fly to LA and then there go to Toronto. And I'm thinking, no. But I couldn't sleep all night. I couldn't freaking sleep all night. And the next day, I'm like, I could only hear in my head, well, Natalie, if you want a different life, you got to start making different decisions. And the decision you're making to say no to go to this event is your old ways. So, and he calls me again and says, do you want to go to the event? Because I can't get rid of the ticket. And I'm like, okay, I don't know why I'm saying yes.
She wanted the 500 for the ticket. I'm glad she did. I'm glad she wanted the 500 for the ticket because Natalie took it.
Yeah, and I went, and so I flew to LA, and that's when basically this all started.
Well, and what you have just shown is, and this is the very thing about manifesting, right? All we have to do is actually connect with what we want. We could let it go after that. You don't have to keep focusing on what I want. Because what you did by writing it out, it's solidified. When we put things in writing, that's the way to set goals. The first step to actually going forward with a goal, writing it down solidifies it, right? I'm not writing things down type of person. So I've learned over my life how to just keep repeating it in my head because I'm so used to talking to myself. But that's not everybody, right? If you're a talk to yourself type of person, then keep talking to yourself. If you're a writing down type of person, then write it down. But writing it down solidifies it. So that when you wrote your story and you felt it,
Exactly.
you let it go. You let it go. You see,
did.
that's the magic. Let go of the outcome. Right? Because when we focus on it too much, then we're trying to control what we need to see. And then we're missing the magic of opening up the periphery to see what's already there. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So you let go of the outcome, but the universe takes over after that. You cannot stop the momentum. You're going to be at that event because you're about to meet him. And the less we know, to be honest with you, the better it is.
And I wasn't looking. This is what, like Susan was
I
saying.
was looking, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
I just
Yeah. But for myself, just so you know, like I wrote all of that because if I told myself, if I could wake up tomorrow and this is the life I could live, oh my God, I would relive it over and over and over and over again. And so that's how I wrote that to myself. And I wrote it with some repetition, but not obsessive, like Susan says. And I certainly wasn't flying to PGI. Oh, I hope I meet this man. Like I know I'm in the middle of a divorce. The last thing I'm thinking we're going to get there when we get there. But the last thing I was thinking was that. But for some reason, I knew there was a pull in me. I couldn't sleep that night. And I knew there was something about it, but of course I'm a businesswoman mindset was, oh, maybe you're going to meet someone and give you a business opportunity of some sort. And, I was thinking more along those lines, right? Because that's where my mind was. But when we write down and connect emotionally to what we truly want, don't worry. That will take more power than your paradigms. And so that's why this story is really, truly powerful. I'll let you keep going, Susan.
It is, and it's about letting go of the outcome, but how do we let go of the outcome? I focus on the hows. So whenever we're speaking to people or the audience, we tell them not to focus on the hows, but leave the how to us as experts, because we know how. We can see what you can't see. We know what you don't know, right? So when you're working in a community with experts, really allow them to guide you because you are being guided, right? And that's the key. That's the how is to be left to the experts to guide you through. Just know that you don't have to think about it, and just know to reconnect with what you want. So I find that whenever we want love, well, for Kevin, you're very self-aware. Number one, the journey to being ready for love or being love worthy is being so damn self-aware that even the negative stuff you could turn into positive, right? That you see every angle of yourself, all the mistakes you made, all the failures, have a big rave party in there, right? Play some music with all that shit, because you know what? That's freedom. That is freedom. And that's when you're absolutely ready and you'll see love coming like a train on a racetrack, right? Because there's nothing to hide. So what I do is I teach people to be so self-effacing, truth-seeking about what your truth is. Allow yourself to be called out. If somebody says to you, hey, listen, I think, you might be wrong in this. It's like, don't be reacting, like fighting back, because that'll show that, well, what are you trying to hide to yourself? And look at your triggers and reactions as a block. It's a block. right? And you know what? When we are too self-protecting, we never allow love in the vicinity. Of course not. We're not stupid, right? If we're protecting ourselves, why the heck would we let love in? God forbid, try to kill me? Like, that's the most vulnerable state. So stop protecting yourself. Let's expose yourself to you so you're not scared of anything. And so when I met you that night, Natalie, I see here you were successful. You've already created a lot of self-love for yourself. Success is part of that self-love, is taking care of yourself as an individual. So my question to you that night was, rather than saying, well, you should have love, Natalie. I don't understand what's wrong. I can't stand when people do that. Eh? You should be in love. Why don't, this is how you're going to do it and whatever. No, I'm like, I'm just curious, Natalie. So what is it about love that you don't want? Right? It's like, I want to learn. I'm not here to tell you, and I'm not an expert of you, right?
Mm.
I am just here to learn why people don't want the very thing that's the most important in life. I want to study the world and like, so why don't you want love? When I ask you that question, you're like, well, I'm good by myself. So it's the typical question answers that somebody successful is, I don't have time for that. I'm like, but what if you met somebody that's supporting you on your own mission?
And really, it's the reality of things is that we are born, we want love right away. It's
Yeah.
the first thing we're looking for, and then the food, right? Like, no, seriously, right? But that's why we get the two mixed up. But we get that love, and but then afterwards we grow up in an environment, and mine was absolutely dead. Like, it was all against it so badly, to the point where I saw love as a weakness. And then I started really pouring myself out to Susan, and I'm like, I saw my mother as falling in love with a man, and her whole life got ruined. And so I'll be honest with you, now that I'm talking to you, I'm scared of falling in love, because I don't want to end up like my mother, where she's completely in love, but blinded, completely blinded. And I used to plead with my mom, just leave, just leave, just leave. And she wouldn't, right? So that's why I became who I became. But it wasn't because my heart didn't want love. Come on, I was born. All of us are born with a heart where we're like, please love me, right? Come on, right? We're lying to ourselves. And then that's what Susan, as we were talking about that, and you were asking me questions about that, and it had me thinking, and I'm like, well, yeah, why do I assume that I'm going to be my mom, or I am my mom? Why do I believe that? Why do I believe that I'm going to find someone like my dad? Like, that's not, do you know? And so you really had me thinking that night.
Yeah. And I think that's the power of impacting people in the right way. Like, we're all want love, but not all of us are ready. So we need to know, and you can't change what you don't know is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you know what that problem is, you can change it, right? But people don't usually walk through life blindfolded trying to change everything when they're trying to achieve love, which is the most vulnerable state that we are in. So, but if people can just learn how to unblindfold yourself from your own truth and see what the problem is, that problem was minor for you because you had already broken the generational pattern. You already were not your mother. So that story could be killed right there, that moment, which is why
It
your
was,
story
and
is
it
so
did.
powerful.
Actually, you
Yeah.
did, because when we question our beliefs, like we question Santa, is because the belief was already breaking apart, right? So that's why, so it's the same thing. It's so powerful. Question your beliefs, because the moment you question your beliefs, you're like, oh, now you're replacing it with a more powerful belief. And that's what was happening in that moment with you,
Yeah.
which
It's
was so necessary, because all of you, when I first saw Kevin, somebody said, oh, look, there's Kevin Blake Weldon. Bob Proctor brought him in to sing. And I looked and I said, come to Calgary, you'll find a lot of men with cowboy hats. And I remember when Annie looked at me in the moment and she said, I know what you're writing down that you want in life, by the way. And but with this, she kind of rolled her eyes because she said, with this right now, Natalie, you're not going to find anybody. Just recognize that. And she walked away. And in that moment, I'm like, I'm angry, right? But it's good. You want to get angry, by the way. It's a good thing to piss off people because underneath the anger is paradigm and desire. And I had a desire for the thing, but I had a paradigm preventing me from going after that thing. And so I got angry quite a few times at that event, a lot of anger here and there. I'm like, oh my God, I was full of inflammation. Remember, I was telling you that. I'm like, I feel like nauseous right now. Like because that's what the paradigm does. It's trying to hold me back to who I think I am. Meanwhile, the heart of me is like, oh no, we're busting through this and you're just feeling this war and it doesn't feel too good.
And that's why I think it's so important to surround yourself with people that are real, that are bold enough to be truthful and how they live their life. You know, if you surround yourself with people that are real and that live their life as real as they can be, then you will always be called out on your truth, but in a loving, compassionate way. Not somebody who's like, oh, I found love and you should have love too. That's the worst.
That's not going to work. Yeah.
That is the worst. But somebody who actually is open and vulnerable will always be sensitive and compassionate enough to tell you, because I want to be called out. I always tell people, I was like, I'm not master of everything. I don't know everything. I don't know what I don't know. And if you see me doing something that doesn't look right, then let me know. And it's my choice to take it or to not take it. That's it. But I shouldn't be fighting the world, right? And that's the thing is like when we start fighting the world, then we're not even allowing love in. What are you protecting?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're protecting something, then let's look at what you're protecting and let her or a little him or a little her out. And let's hold his hand, her hand to protect her and cushion her, but don't build a wall. And I always say in love, when you're ready for love, we need to change that armor and a wall around you to a filter. A filter is when healthy boundaries are being exercised. Whereas a wall is like, don't even come in. Whereas a filter is like, come in and we're going to play a bit. If we don't like it, we'll oot you out, like gone. Filter in and out, like osmosis, right? But if it's a wall and an armor, who the heck can get in, right, Kevin?
And before I spoke to Susan, it kind of was what was going on.
I could see that Natalie was trying to put up that wall, but I wasn't there. When I saw her, I knew that there was something there. I just wanted to go. So I was filtering. I wasn't blocking. I was filtering. I could sense that there was something there. I just wanted to go see if what I was sensing, this energy. I just wanted to go see if it was if there may be something there. And so when I sat down, I wasn't trying to persuade her. I wasn't trying to pick her up. I just wanted to connect with her. I wanted to look at her. I wanted to see if this could possibly be the person, because the fact that I was even there, this whole story is just so unbelievable. I'll tell a little bit more of the details about how I got there in just a minute. But when I first sat, I mean, I knew that Natalie was intentionally avoiding eye contact with me. I could see it. I mean, I'm over there across the room singing, in the lobby of the airport, Hilton Airport in L.A. Down there had some of the people from the Matrix were there, and I know Martha was there, and Annette was there, and so Natalie, I mean, I get it. She's looking over there, and she's seeing these attractive women right there, and I'm singing, and she goes, "Oh, he's a player. He's like all country music singers. He's, and I get that. I understand that." And as I was singing, I like to look at people when I'm singing. I want to engage people in what I do, and so I'm looking at everybody and making eye contact and smiling. And I get to Natalie, and she I mean, it's like real fast, turns away. I know what that means. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what that means. I know what that means. I've seen it before, and so I scan back and I can see her out of my peripheral vision. I can see her looking at me again. So I don't just do that. I scan back, I'm playing it cool, I get back to her, and as soon as I get to her again, she turns away again. And I'm thinking in my mind, woman, why won't you look at me? I just want to. I just want to look. I just want to look in your eyes. That's all I want. See if there's anything there. And so, by the way, I have, of course, I wrote the song "Woman, Why Won't You Look at Me" on my album. That's about when we met. And so I go back again, and I can see now I'm noticing it. Even though I'm remembering the words, it's autopilot because my thoughts are this lady sitting over here in this chair, but yet the words are still coming out. I'm not forgetting the words. I don't know how that happens, but I'm singing this song, but my whole time I'm thinking about Natalie sitting over here, and I'm out of the corner of my eye, I can see her looking at me again. And so I scan back, and again she turns away real fast, and I'm like, something's up here. I'm gonna go meet this lady. And seriously, no sooner had I thought that than the person that was sitting in that chair got up, and I made a beeline right for that spot, and I sat down, and that's when she's like, "No, don't sing to me." And she goes to telling me all the reasons. I'm going through a divorce, and I got 2 kids, and I live in Canada, and I got this. And I said, I just want to say, hey, it's already trying to discount me, I'm like,
Oh no,
I'm not
I was
trying to
like, go,
pick you up. I just want
I
to
was,
know who
yeah,
you are.
I was like, yeah, you don't want any of this, please. Like, that's basically what I was doing, right? And so it's almost like, well, throwing it all up. And he looks
I didn't
at
care.
me, and it was just,
I didn't care. I just wanted to see who she was. Because I could sense there was some energy there, and I just wanted to go see what it was. Plus, I was also expecting, and this is another key point, and I can only speak from my truth. I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, I was expecting to find love. I was expecting it to come into my life. I didn't know who it was going to be. I didn't know when it was going to happen. It could happen in the airport. It could happen at the grocery store. It could happen at the Matrix. It could happen at PGI. But I wanted it. I knew what I wanted. I had my vision board drawn out. We'll cover that in a minute. But I was expecting to meet someone. I was expecting to meet someone. But the difference in where I was at that point, Susan, was that I knew who I was.
Yep.
I knew what I needed to work on. I was working on me, and I knew what I wanted in my future person. I wasn't just wanting somebody. A lot of people just want somebody. They look good, they want them. They got money, they want them. They have this, they want them. I knew the type of person that I was looking for, and I expected that I was going to find that person. And so I wanted to make sure if there was an attraction, because you can be attracted to lots of people, but just because you have that physical attraction, when you actually start to get to know them, if you know who you are, you can pick up on the right energy. And I knew what I was looking for, and I felt this energy with Natalie. And as we started to talk, the more we talked, the stronger it got. And literally, guys, the second night that was on a Friday night, April the 26th, and Saturday night, April 27th, Natalie and I spent the night together again, and she said, I could literally marry you tomorrow. She said that to me, and
How do you go from ice? How do you go from ice queen to I could marry you tomorrow overnight? Like, this is what happens with medicine.
Absolutely. So remember, I want you all to understand paradigms. This is the whole thing about paradigms. If you can focus and put at the forefront of your mind what it is that you want. So I really wanted so badly my whole life, just so you know, even the binge eating, my voids were filled because I wanted love. Here's the thing. I would every Friday and Saturday sit on the couch, watch love movies, cry, and binge eat. But I don't need love. I don't want love. You see how freaking messed up we are sometimes, okay? This is what paradigm does, though. It's not that we're messed up. We have been brought up. I've been brought up that love doesn't exist, and if you do fall in love, guess what? You're going to be in a lot of trouble. So the very thing I feared was what my soul really desired. So that's quite the freaking conflict I'm living with, right? So when I was there and Kevin was beside me, just so you all know that before that all happened, he went on stage and he started to sing. So right after I had made that comment, I'll come to Calgary, there's tons of men with cowboy hats. He went on stage and started to speak. And I'm like, here I worked with thousands of men, and I feel I know men, I know men. And Kevin gets on stage and starts speaking from his heart and starts singing. And I'm like, he blew me. He's no redneck. I remember thinking, like, he's not a redneck. Holy shit. Like, where do you come from? And I remember at that point I had made up my mind. I wanted to meet him, not
Let me
because
just
of
interrupt
love.
real quick, you guys. I want
Yeah.
y'all to look at this. This is a screenshot.
Oh,
So this event, this event was broadcast. This event was broadcast, through the PGI to around the world. There was like 5,000 people, and this was the Thursday night. This was before I met Natalie, and I went and I watched the replay and I paused it and I took a screenshot of this. This is Natalie standing up here, as I'm up on stage, and I sang the song "Drift Off to Dream." It was one of the songs that I sang, and I made no bones about it. I said I'm looking for the love of my life, and this song. And what's really neat is that song. It's about mindset, because in the song, Travis Tritt is singing about drifting off to dream. One day I'll find you. I don't know where you live. I don't know. You might be just down the street. You might be 1,000 miles away. It might be tomorrow. It might be next year. But one of these days I'm going to meet you. When I meet you, this is what I'm going to sing. And he has this image of his mind. We're going to hold hands on the porch swing. We're going to sit out under the moon. We're going to dance. And we're going to drift off to dream in each other's arms. All right. This was a song about visualizing. It was about seeing in your mind what you want, and I explained that. And then here's Natalie out here, and I didn't know it at the time, but she's watching me from the audience, and so I screenshotted this and I sent it to her, and I even put in a little box up there. I'm going to marry her.
yeah. Well, I wasn't
And
thinking
I
that
also
at that
heard,
moment.
Susan, I also heard too that apparently I got 2 wedding proposals from people that were watching the live stream. So
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Literally, if you could see, if anybody out there does energy work, you can see every single heart pop open with mega light coming through. And so I just, it's powerful what you do, Kevin, with the pure intention of your existence, right? It's a pure soul. And I think that's the moment where you're gonna have love around you no matter what. And it's funny, there's a question out on your feed, and one who was it that said something that I just want to address to, because it's really important. There's somebody that said that they were hurt too badly, and they're too vulnerable to, and Kevin, you can speak to that for sure. But one of the modules that I take people through, it's really important that you recognize that it's not there's a solution to that, right? But it's a specific type of work, what I call blindside therapy. We need to go back and see what you could have done, right? So we can learn, because one of the things that makes us vulnerable is not knowing what we did wrong, right? But if you knew what you did, then you'll know not to do it again. And that gives you that extra layer of empowerment. But you do need to go back and really analyze it, not from an emotional level, but from a very objective level. It's like, oh, hold on. Like, I'll give you an example, because examples are so much easier. I had a client that she was married for 9 years, and apparently her ex-husband, when she married him, didn't show those signs until after like the next day after you're married, right? And I'm like, are you sure there weren't signs? Because how can somebody just turn overnight, right? But hey, if we have blinders on, we have blinders on. Number one, that's blinders. Okay, that's one problem. Number two, he became a narcissist, and I hate that word nowadays. I swear to God.
I've
Women,
been called that before.
yeah, please, women, stop using
Yes,
that
please,
word to
please.
describe men. It's we all have narcissistic tendencies. I've seen more women acting narcissistic than men. So let's not use that word, because the moment we label these poor men, they don't know what to do with that word. It's very damaging. And it's the energy we're putting out there. And I looked at my client, and her ex-husband was narcissistic, and she called him a narcissist because she wanted to belong with the crowd of the narcissist men, right? And I called her out once, and I said, you know what? I said, if I were an ice queen, to my husband and I didn't want to listen to him, anything he said, that if I didn't like, I would shut down, I would go crazy too.
Yeah.
There's nothing more maddening than trying to communicate with somebody that shuts down on you. That can turn anybody crazy.
Well, Mother Teresa was called narcissistic. Come on, people. Yeah.
So I think that we have to take responsibility and accountability. It's like, okay, so if I shut down, I caused this to happen and he became crazy, but I guess he didn't have, he had a reason. He didn't, so therefore walk away and let go of it. But she had a son that she was having problems with, and he hit depression because she was doing the same thing to her son as she was doing to her ex. Her ex became angry. Some people react with anger, some people react with pain and shut down and depression. So she was the common denominator causing the same problem, and she did not see it. And she's practiced personal development for 25 years, became very successful in a business, became a very successful businesswoman, but didn't even see that one thing. And the moment she changed that, her son changed.
And Susan, sometimes becoming successful in those areas can be a big curse, because your ego gets to the point where you don't think that you can miss anything. You don't think that you can do anything wrong. You think you have all the answers. And that's part of what my problem was, that I recognized, is that I thought that I was always right. I never saw the other perspective. I only saw my perspective. And I certainly didn't like, anybody telling me that I had a role in a lot of my heartbreaks and abandonments and things that I went through. But as I look back now, I did have a role. We all have it. We all play a role. We all have a part. And once I started to uncover what was going on within me, and I learned how to say, I never knew how to do that. Some of the things that Bob introduced to me, I'd never heard this before. And so I was able to start making some sense of it. I started asking myself, well, maybe there really is a lot more to this than what I've ever thought. Could it be that I don't have it figured out? Could it be that I don't know all the answers? I can certainly look at my results and I can say, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what I'm getting. So if I want some different results, I've got to start thinking differently. We talk about the Einstein quote, you can't solve your problems with the same mindset you had when you created the problem. But I didn't create the problem. I didn't create the problem. It's not my fault. It's, she's the one that left. She's the one that did this. He's the one that cheated. He's the one that did that. We're always blaming instead of looking inside. So I want to get to a point that I think is probably one of the very most important parts that we can talk about today. And that is what do we do? What is our role? What is our responsibility if we truly want this? And the first thing is you have to have the desire to work on yourself. You have to have the desire to get to know who you are and what you really, really want. What do you really want? What is really, really important to you? And I'm going to pull up this, and it might be a little soon, but we have, about 17 to 25 minutes. We may go a little over.
But I can't believe how fast time goes by. This is ridiculous.
Yes. This is something that, because people ask me, and I've talked about this many, many times about creating the vision board. Bob showed me how to do this vision board. And in the very middle, you're going to see where it says my woman. And I wrote the things that I thought that were the very most important things to me, what I wanted my future person to have. I did this in early December of 2018. And I want you to see, I want to draw your attention to this right here. Perfect for her, perfect for me. I'm perfect for her. She's perfect for me. What does this mean? This means that I can't just ask for the things that I want and not think about what she wants. I want it to be the very best version of myself that I could be. And that meant that I needed to go get me figured out. I needed to let go of the past. I needed to go uncover why I have these paradigms that I have, why I believe this about women. Why do I have trust issues? Why do I have abandonment issues? Can I release that energy from my mother? She divorced, my dad and her divorced when I was 7. And so I never really had a mother, and I never got that. And so It was all about physical affection for me. Started at a very young age, and so I developed all this unhealthy beliefs around relationships, women, sex, the whole works. And so I needed to go get healthy. First of all, healthy for me, because it's not fair for me to bring all of my shit into a relationship with an amazing woman. And I did that. And those amazing women all got away. Sure, they see the guy up on stage. Sure, they yeah, sweep them off their feet, and then they start to see the paradigm. They start to see, not that I was a bad person, but I had some issues, guys. Once I got that cleared out of the way and started working on me, I was without a relationship for almost 5 years, which is crazy for me. I had a girlfriend every 2, 3 weeks, you know, 5 years. I didn't want to keep going through that. So I said, I need to go figure out what it is. So I wrote all these things that I wanted. And I want you guys to look up and this, Bob, some people say don't put a date. I didn't want to wait another 10 years. I wrote, I will meet her before May of 2019. Guys,
Oh
this
my
is
God.
December of 2018. I went to the Matrix, Susan. You talk about, I went expecting to meet someone there. I did. I thought I was going to meet him at the Matrix. That's why I didn't mind paying the massive amount of money that I paid to go to that event. I've never invested a cent in my own self before, but it got to the point where I was tired of putting money above my health and my happiness. And I didn't care. I told Chris Murray, I don't care how much it costs. You just tell me, I'll make payments. I'll do whatever. I know I'm supposed to go to this event. And so I go, and I didn't meet the person there. There was a couple of people that I was attracted to, that I was drawn to, but they were married. So the first thing that Bob says is they've got to be free. So they weren't. Immediately, not going after somebody that's not free. Okay. When Natalie said she was going through a divorce, I said, so you're saying there's a chance. All right. So I wrote these things down. I wrote, I'll meet her before May. I asked Bob, I said, Bob, I can stay for a week. I'll stay here for a week waiting for just a small opportunity to come and visit with you before I leave town. He says, well, Kevin, I'm leaving to go on vacation tomorrow afternoon. But he said, hey, if you can come to my house at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll make a little time for you. So I called an Uber over to Bob's house, and I sat down with him in his office for 40 minutes, and we talked. And he said, Kevin, I really would like for you to come out to LA, be my guest. I want you to perform again. I want to introduce you to Phil Goldfine and some other people. And he got on the phone with Gina. He says, Gina, what are the dates for the event for LA? And she told him, he goes, Kevin, it's April 25th, 26th, and 27th. My first thought, not I'm going to meet the Hollywood movie producer, not that I'm going to be on stage in front of 500 people. My thought, Susan, was that is where I'm going to meet the love of my life. And Natalie and I met Friday night, April the 26th of 2019. And she hit every single thing on my vision board. And you know what's funny? I put on here modest. That really pissed her off when she saw that. Really, but her, she's French Canadian, speaks fluent French. Sometimes translations get a little, her idea of what modest meant and mine were two different ideas, two different things. What I really meant by modest is that she wasn't ever going to cheat on me. That she was, people get the idea that just because a girl wears some Daisy Duke cutoff shorts that they're going to sleep with every guy that whistles at their ass. All right. So that's kind of the wrong mindset. I just wanted to know that she was going to be, in love with me and not want to, run around. I wanted a sexy, good looking, and usually when you get sexy, good looking, you get, somebody that's like, ooh, they get all excited about all the guys whistling and notice and stuff. And, I knew that Natalie, that's not where her heart was. So that's what I meant by that. But anyway, so I created this vision board. She will recognize me as the person she's been thinking of, praying for, and dreaming, and so will I. And that happened very, very quickly for us. And she hit every single thing on here. I'm not going to get into all the details, but I got very detailed. You guys can probably see some of the things on there. There's something on there pretty personal that Natalie probably doesn't want me pointing out. So I might as well go ahead and.
Now, Kevin, I wanted to highlight too, because that's the one thing that I think people don't realize, and it's really, really important. The reason why you were able to come up with that vision board with such clarity and detail. It's because we have to allow ourselves to go through the experience of dating and going into situations where you are exposed to different options. And that's the only way we know what works for us and what doesn't. So a lot of people think that you can just do a lot of that work alone because they're too scared to be exposed. But you need to be exposed. That's the reason why you were having girlfriends every 2 weeks. No wonder you had all your data. And I always say to people, bring home the data so we can work with something. We don't work conceptually when it comes to love. We have to know what your heart feels with different situations, putting yourself in a vulnerable position where you come out of it learning one thing, right? But a lot of women are saying, well, I'm not ready to date. But then what are we working on, right? Like you can be, if you're not dating, then at least work on building a business, making sure that you're successful if that's what you want, or whatever it is. But what work is there if you're looking for love if you're not dating,
Can I
right?
just, can I just interrupt you real quick, Susan? And I've heard people say it, and I'm going to be very careful because I certainly don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to call bullshit when somebody says I'm not looking for man. I don't have time to date. There's a reason. You get to the heart of the heart of the heart of the matter, and the reason that most people, and I've talked to lots and lots of people over the years, and the reason that is mostly what it says is because there is an expectation placed on them from somebody else, most likely a father, that they have to do certain things. Don't you go out and get married too early. Don't. And that, so all this gets ingrained in this paradigm. Or they've been hurt very, very badly, and they've got this massive wall up. Even though they want it, they long for it. They sit and cry and binge eat ice cream. They deep down in their heart, they long for it and want it, but they're afraid that it's not going to happen. I'm not going to go through that hurt again. But my question is if you could wake up tomorrow and you didn't have to worry about money, you didn't have to worry about this or that, your job, would you love to have the perfect person for you in your life? And everybody always says, of course. Okay. So let's cut through all the crap. It's not that you don't want it. It's not that you don't have time for it. You've got to get to the heart of the heart. Because at the end of the day, guys, what's a job? What's it for? What's it for? What's your health for? It's for you to experience an amazing, exciting adventure. And one of the very most important thing on that list for me after attraction, you've got to have something there, is that she was into personal growth. So you guys are here because you want to understand how to have, whether it's health, weight loss, relationship, you're here for something. So you're obviously working on yourself. Do you really want to be in a relationship with somebody that's not willing to do that? Now, listen, you may be already married. You may be doing it. Your husband may not. Your wife may not. And I've had people say, Kevin, what do you do when you're in a relationship with somebody that is not on this journey and they don't seem to be interested and they just think it's all a bunch of hogwash? So, Susan, I want to throw that to you because that is a very big part of this, is people that want to keep their marriage together, but one or the other spouse is or committed other is not to this point yet. What would you say to that?
Yeah, that's a huge one because after all the conferences that I've worked in, that I've been to, so many people come up with the aha moment that they are not happy in their relationship because all of a sudden we're in a high, right, in personal development. But check this out. I mean, I've been together with my husband for 18 years now. He's never been in personal development. He's never gone to an event with me, right? So we don't have to, but both have to share the same core belief systems, right? The core, and there's no more than 5 or 6 core belief systems that you need to anchor you both in to be able to struggle through those hard times, right? Nothing is perfect. I talk about the law of attraction is not the love coaching thing. I created the law of magnetism. That is what we need to focus on, but nobody teaches it in personal development. So that's why we go to these conferences. We have all these success principles. It's like, oh shit, why is my love life totally shot now, right? And so when we're looking at relationships, even when I'm working with singles, I always focus on So what's your opposite? What's your opposite? Because that's what chemistry is.
Mhm.
You and Natalie are completely opposite, okay? But you share core value systems, right? That's the only thing you need. So if you're married to somebody that's not sharing the same interests as you, that's very different from sharing the same core values,
Hmm.
right? And
Mhm.
so you
Let
have
me,
to
let me throw something. I hate interrupting Susan, but if I don't speak this thought now, it's going to skip me. Um, one of the things that with some of the couples and singles that I've been working with, and Natalie too, is the spouse is trying to force the other person to get on this journey.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, please don't. Please don't. You can't force anybody to this. What you can do is you can work on yourself, and they are going to notice the change. And Natalie, you've seen it with a couple of the clients that you've been working with. I have too. Is that if you will just work on yourself and not nag, and I don't like that using that word, but that's basically what we're doing when we're not getting our way, when we want somebody to do something that we want them to do. We don't think about where they're at. You have to put yourself in their perspective. How would this look to me? Okay, listen, some guys just don't get it. Okay, some girls just don't get it. It's okay. But if you get it and you start living your life that way, and you stop expecting them and just let them be, you will be amazed at what will happen. Go ahead, Natalie.
You're in, because what you're doing in that moment when you are just being, you're enrolling them into living a different life. And they see that and they're like, I want to join you. But when we like say to our husbands, like, oh my God, here we go again. He doesn't want to do this and he doesn't want, you remember that's at the forefront of your mind. Guess what you're
That energy is
attracting?
going to
A
come on. He's
husband
going
that
to get
is not
promoted, and not
right.
going to be no sex tonight
Yeah, like you're
or
still,
next week.
you've got that, you're attracting that. So what you want to do is become the best at, and connect to yourself. And that's exactly what we all do is, and we're always doing, like Susan is still on her journey, Kevin's still on her journey, like Bob Proctor is still on his journey. We're all going to still be on our journey. But the beautiful thing is that the more that I go within and I strengthen that and I love this, I'm living a different life. And when I am living that life, it's like, ooh, people are enrolled into it. My daughters are enrolled to it. Like I have my daughters. I don't force my daughters in personal development. My Erica comes she even sends text to me, Mommy, what do you think about this? And it's quotes, it's personal development quotes. And we're having discussions. I didn't push that on her, but I did enroll her into it just by me being me. Right. And it's so
That
powerful.
is so key. That is so key. I think, it's really interesting because one of the things that we have to recognize, and we don't think about this because the law of attraction means you are attracting the like, right? You don't want to attract your like. You don't want to Kevin doesn't want to marry Kevin. Natalie doesn't want to marry Natalie, right? So the first thing we have to actually change our focus a bit and look at, okay, hold on, because I used to shock people because I'm very independent. I hit my greatest success on my own before I met my husband, right? So because I figured 10 years single, I'm already hitting over 100 men in those 10 years. Hey, what can I do? I might as well just keep going for success because I'm not meeting the one yet. And so I just kept focusing on my own success as I'm dating my ass off. But I never gave up on love. But I used to always tell women this, and it used to shock them. I used to say, I just want to be taken care of. I want the man to be in the driver's seat, please. I do not want to be in the driver's seat. Why would we? Men are geared to be the home, to be the breadwinner, the caretaker, the caregiver. They need to be the man. But what happens is that we empowered women all of a sudden cut their balls off. And
Yeah,
seriously,
we do. We do. And it's so funny because when we were talking the other day, Susan, I'm going to share this because she's so funny.
You guys are getting the real deal here
Oh,
today.
you're getting the real deal now, right? So Susan's like, here's the thing, Natalie. What you've done is, who doesn't want to be, who were the words you were using now that I'm like, do you remember? Because I shared it with you.
169.
No.
Oh,
But it was basically because I was so like Susan says, I was in the driver's seat, but deep down, I didn't want to be. Like I really wanted to be. So when Kevin came into the relationship at first, I'll be honest with you. There was a little bit of the paradigm power struggle because, and it wasn't coming from him, it was coming from me because I'm like, yeah, I don't know that I like this very much. And I remember Susan was like, yeah, what woman really
Oh, I
doesn't like
remember. I said, you
but
know,
yeah.
all women, I don't care how successful we are, we want a man in a knight in shining armor. But when we are wearing the armor, how sexy are we?
Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
man's looking at us, it's like, hey, I'm wearing the armor. Is your armor shinier than mine? And how hard is it to get to you? You're not sexy. There is nothing sexy about a
Yeah.
woman wearing an armor. But it's great when the woman is actually has the thing that the knight in shining armor is holding.
Oh, I know what you said. You're like, who doesn't want to submit to a cowboy?
Oh yeah.
Sad. She's like, that's what happened to Natalie. She's
Allow ourselves to be taken, right? Because hey man, we're empowered, we're successful, we're whatever, we have self-love. For God's, you know what, we have sisterhood. So why do we have to be so scared of our vulnerability? Men cannot combat the sisterhood, right?
and here's
So
the other thing too for the men out there. Women have
poor Kevin, he's getting totally
women, here's the thing, men, the masculine energy is all about driving results, taking charge. And a lot of these corporate women are being taught this masculine energy. And that's why it's not serving them out there because it kind of goes against the whole love game because you're not the masculine energy, by the way. You've been taught that masculine energy. But women have manifesting, like a lot of you men, when you say, when my woman's happy, my God, life is freaking beautiful. Yeah, guess what? Women manifest like freaking crazy. So women, take your seat where this is a powerful place to recognize that when I want something like this, the house that we're manifesting right now, like Kevin will tell you, it's like, oh yeah, we're out by, what was it, like 200,000 or something like that. And I'm like, oh, no problem. I'm signing up. And, you know,
well,
and
that's
the
the
thing
thing.
is that us women have that power when we desire something. And then the men, if you empower the men, they're like, we'll get the results. We'll get in that driver's seat. We'll start doing things we didn't do before. And it's
That's
really
why the
powerful.
affirmation that us women, all you women, whether you're too vulnerable to go out to date or whether you're not ready for love, it doesn't matter what it is. This is the only affirmation I want to leave you all with that I live by my entire life, right? My affirmation has always been, I make you look good. Even when I didn't believe it, right? Like I'm like, I make you look good. I make you look good. I'm your lucky charm. And every man wants a woman that has the confidence that makes him look good. Because every man wants to be out there and every man to come to you, Kevin, and say, you know what? You're one lucky guy, man. You're one lucky guy, man, right? Like, isn't that the best? That's all men. Men are not complicated. They are so not complicated. They just want food, love, sex, and they'll bring home the money if you give them that food and
Yeah.
that love, right?
Yeah.
And they will go out there and bring the world to you, right? So,
and
really,
I'm gonna share one more piece of advice for the women out there that are looking for their their man, where they have the guy in their life and they want to get things back on track or whatever. There's a song. It's a Garth Brooks song. I can't remember which one it was, but it says, "She has my back when my back's against the wall," and that's Natalie. That's all I want because I've had my back against the wall many times in my life, and if I know that I've got somebody that believes in me, I believe in myself, but I don't want to go through life by myself. I don't want to go. I've had some amazing experiences. I get to go places that it would take somebody making 10 times the income because of that guitar. And I just wanted to have the right person in my life. And Natalie has my back when my back's against the wall. There are weaknesses that I have that she has helped with. You know, I probably have a little bit more of the feminine energy in me than most people realize. They see the cowboy hat, they see the country singer, they see the guy that used to hunt. But you know, I grew up without a mom. Okay, so I didn't really have that. All right, and I kind of wanted somebody to take care of me. All right, so that was probably my biggest um, weakness, or my, I don't want to say weakness, but you know, flaw, or whatever you want to call it, unawareness, is that I was looking for somebody to take care of me. But then when I would get somebody that could, I wouldn't let them. I still wanted to be the man.
Because
You
you're
know,
still a man.
I have run some great women off because of my paradigm. You know, but they weren't supposed to be in my life. I got my heart ripped out. I mean, if people only knew the nights that I cried myself to sleep, many nights, they see that, oh, this guy's got it going. No, no, no. I have been through the ringer, but I attracted that, and I didn't even know why. And I woke up one day when I was about 52 or so, and I said, enough's enough. And I started listening to Bob some more, and then I saw that on that one event, that very exclusive event in Toronto where I met you, Susan, and something said, you know, I started thinking about, no, I didn't think about afterwards when I tell the story. The old me would have thought about all the different things I could have done with that money. You know, you could do this, you could do this. Actually, guys, I was going to get another hair transplant because, as you can see, it's getting real thin again. I was going to spend that money on that. And I said, what good's having more hair going to do if you can't get your shit figured out and have the life that you want? So I figured I probably need to go get something figured out, and I did, and it's the best thing I ever did. And that the thinking and results, the program that Natalie and I got, you know, certified in, that we teach, mixed with our experiences, our results. I mean, we had such an amazing shift and change in results from where we were before to where we are now. It was so impactful, and so many people were coming up and asking us that I didn't I didn't have any intention of being a relationship and love and mindset coach, but because of the massive shift that we saw and experienced, people wanted to know what we did, and so it's something that we're very passionate about. Natalie, she loves this. I love this too. I still do my music. I still love her things, but if I can help one person connect to the fact that it's not outside of you, it's all within, and if I can help somebody understand that and share what we've gone through to give them this opportunity, it's worth everything to me. I love this. So we're going to have some people here this week, Susan, that are going to take something from this 5 days, and they're going to go off, and the seeds are going to be planted, and you know, they may work with us. They may 6 months may go work with somebody else, but we just want to plant the seeds. We want to plant the seeds because I don't want anybody to waste another day, another week, another year, another 10 years saying one of these days I'm going to do something. Oh, when I get to this point, I'll do it. Oh, I like what he's saying, but I don't believe that can happen to me. Mm-mm. Guys,
The truth is, Kevin, to add to that, if I would not, at 38 years old, when I was having that breakdown with all the health issues and loveless marriage and um, feeling so friggin' lonely and empty, had I not made a decision to invest in myself and get coaching and stop watching, I was watching a lot of videos, by the way, all of you, like all of you that are on here, I did that for many years. I was still binge eating. I was still, like Einstein says, you cannot expect to solve your problems with the same thinking that created it. How are you going to change your own mind? I need you to understand your own mind is in control. You're looking at a video from your perspective. You're seeing the whole world from your perspective. How are you going to change your future? I need you all to understand. Susan had many coaches. Kevin has had many coaches. I have had many coaches. A lot of people look at my life and they're like, holy shit, Natalie. And I'm like, but what did you invest in the last couple of years? And they're like, well, I don't have money for that.
I
Well,
never
guess
invested a
what?
penny in
Guess
myself until I
what?
was 52 years old. Not a penny. I mean, even my baseball, my college, I went 2 years to junior college. I had a scholarship. I think I did go get a student loan just so I could get some extra money to go blow it on something, probably deer hunting. While Liz is, my ex-wife is, yeah, boy, I made lots of mistakes. I've learned a lot, but here we are, and we are living a life that we only dreamed of. I mean, I remember talking about movies, and I'm gonna keep this one brief because I can keep going. I would go to those love movies too, and sometimes I would be so mad when I would leave those movies, or even during the movie, I'd say, "This is a bunch of shit. This is only in the movies. This doesn't really happen in real life." And you know what? It's because I want the more passion I was wanting it, the more angry I got that I didn't have it. And so I wanted to put it out there that that's not real because I didn't want to believe that I was not worthy or doing something wrong. But the fact is with that attitude, I was continuing to create that it wasn't real. It was only in the movies. But guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not just in the movies. We're living it. Now, do you see behind the scenes and see when Natalie gets a little irritated at me or when I get a little irritated at her? It happens. Listen, it's life.
Of course.
We're still working and we're always going to work, but we have a common goal. And that common goal is to be the very best version of ourselves that we can be and go and create, like Earl Nightingale says, life should be an exciting adventure. And Steve Jobs, he wakes up, he used to wake up and says, "Do I love what I'm about to do?" If the answer was no for too many days in a row, not weeks, not months, not years, not one of these days I'm gonna, but too many days in a row, he knew it was time to make a change. So if you are not happy, you can be. You can be. It is possible. It's possible for you to have the fairy tale romance. It's possible for you to have the body. If you could see what Natalie, looked like before she got on this journey, you would not believe. I've looked at the pictures. I've seen it. I showed her a picture one day and I said, "Natalie, if you could, what would you say to this girl right now if you could talk to her?" Because I could see it, round face, 175 pounds, and the look in her eyes, it breaks my heart to look at that picture, to know that she, the woman that I know and love, used to feel that way, used to be lonely, used to be hurting. I don't ever want Natalie to hurt. I don't ever want her to be lonely. I don't ever want her to feel like that she's not good enough. And she wants the same for me. And we allow each other, you know, we, there. She gives me my freedom. I give her hers.
Yeah,
And she doesn't make me
it's
do
so
anything, and I
powerful.
don't make her do anything. But
And
we are
Susan
on
can
this.
probably, like for people that are married, right, Susan, is we're connected, heart and soul, but not paradigm.
Yeah,
And
you both carry different paradigms into the relationship. I think the most important thing for married couples, because my self-love work didn't ramp up until I came into a union. I'm sorry. You can pretend we do all the self-love work by ourselves, but man, when you have to coexist with somebody
yeah,
day in and day out and you combine everything together, that's when you're tested to the highest level. So personal development doesn't really happen until you coexist and share your life and heart with somebody. But yes, your paradigms that you carry in. And you know what? I have half of me is wrong, but if it's not stopping me from getting to where I need to go, I don't care what's wrong with me, right? So you only need to focus on what is holding you two back from really connecting from one another. Everything else that's wrong with us, leave it alone. We're not supposed to be perfect. So really, I think it's really important for any couple that's struggling to find that middle point, or if one person is feeling like they are more advanced than the other, you need to just stop and come back into the what I call the gas station, to really get calibrated again and get realigned again, and to understand why those differences are serving you. Because if you're with that person, there is a reason, right? If you believe in the law of attraction, there is a purpose to why this person is there in your life. It doesn't mean you have to stay with them forever, right? People come into our lives to teach us a lesson. If we don't learn the lesson, then we're going to have to learn it with another person. But if you want to learn the lesson, stay with that person, which means stop, really realign. It's like, hold on, I'm with that person. We forget the good stuff about them because their negative stuff gets on our nerves, right? So the parts of my husband that gets on my nerves is the reason why I married him. Okay, so I had to keep reminding myself. Otherwise, I would have slapped him 10,000 times out, right? Because he's a perfectionist. I'm not. So that perfectionism drives me nuts, but I need it. Otherwise, I'm crazy, right?
Exactly.
So we have to remind ourselves that those negatives that get on our nerves is serving us, and we have to learn why things that we don't like are serving us. That is the uncomfortable, comfortable work.
Yes, I
So
like that. Uncomfortable, comfortable.
yeah, so if you're in a marriage or in a relationship and it's not feeling like it's driving, just understand why those negatives are serving you and whether they're not. You have to look at the negatives and see how it's serving you. Is it not serving you or is it serving you? And make a decision. Don't procrastinate.
All right, so let me just, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to have a little conclusion here. But Natalie, we have a draw, and we usually do that a lot earlier than now. But
Oh
we
yeah,
have
so
a drawing.
Zoe, I forgot.
So
Zoe.
yeah, y'all bear with us. We're going to go ahead and we've got a. I'm not sure what the prize is today. But,
You're gonna have to let Zoe in.
Okay, I'll let Zoe in. Zoe, hold on one second, and I will promote you over to panelist. All right, here's Zoe.
A draw. I love draws.
There you are.
Can I just say I love how you say my name, Kevin?
Do I do
It's
it
not
wrong?
like a draw to Zoe.
I know.
There is that accent aigu there, so.
I love it. I love it.
There you go, Susan.
Oh, nice.
Well, Susan lived in Montreal.
I am.
Yeah, you're in Montreal. Not live, is in Montreal. So of course she. You must know French, Susan, right?
Eh, oui, je
Oui,
suis né ici, so I am. I'm born in Montreal.
Oh, wow.
I know we because it means yes, and I tell them yes.
That's all you need to know, eh, Kevin?
All you need to know. You ask me a question, as long as I say yes, unless, were you checking her out? Then it's not yes. Actually, Natalie would probably be okay with me saying yes because she knows
Oh my goodness.
I got all I
All
can.
right, so for the draw.
I got more than I can handle. Guys, I'm 54. I still feel like I'm 20, but this one right here, woo.
Hey, I'm 52.
They're not kidding about them French women, boy. Those French Canadians, man.
Oh, that's really bad that you say that because I was living in Hong Kong and Thailand. Just a quick story, funny. And I met an American in Thailand, and he was my colleague. And he goes, "Oh, so where are you from?" And we were on a call on the phone. I'm like, "Oh, I'm from Montreal." He goes, "Oh, Montreal, you must be easy. You must be easy." And I'm like, "Yeah, can you handle it?"
I bet that shut him down real quick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we get that a lot. Like Zoe too will say it. Like, oh, French.
Guys got that caveman mentality, Woman, throw them over your shoulder and head to the cave. But as soon as one says, "All right, you get back to cave, you better show me something." Hold on just a minute. I think I might better leave this one out here.
I don't bluff, baby.
I love it.
So for the draw.
Well, that used to would have intimidated me, Susan.
Oh my goodness.
I better go learn a little bit more before I go back knocking on that lady's door. All right, let's go, Zoe.
All right, so for the draw, we're giving away 2 Bob Proctor books. And then also I'm adding this one because this is very powerful. U Squared from Price Pritchett. And this is the way I see it. If you want to learn quantum results with your analytical mind, good luck. It's going to take you quantum physics. It's going to be very, very complicated for you to reach a quantum leap in your life by studying quantum physics. But if you want to do it the spiritual way, it's going to be that easy. You see how thin that is? Like, look how easy this is. Look how easy it is when you do it the spiritual way, when you're actually coached into it the spiritual way. It's very easy. So I'm going to include that book to remind you how easy quantum leaps can be when you do it that way. So, and on top of it, we're going to add a $50 Amazon gift certificate. So let's find out who is going to win today.
All right, I'm so excited. What a great, by the way, guys, it was so fantastic today. Everybody's wanting more.
Wait, hold on, one thing. To get in the drawings, you just have to participate, and we go by the people that were in here yesterday. So if you want to be in the drawing tomorrow, as long as you're participating, yes, we're investing in, like, we got the Bahamas trip that we're giving away. Yes, we're investing, but it wouldn't be fair for somebody just to show up just for the draw. So we really want you guys to get something out of this. That's why we've offered these incentives, but we want you to do the work, engage with us, ask questions, make comments. Just let us know that you didn't just turn the computer on and you're going off and watching soap operas and eating ice cream and you come back, did I win? Oh, I didn't win. Whatever. So yeah, participate. Just participate. Keep an open mind and give us the benefit of the doubt that we can help.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody could have walked away today after listening to you guys. It was so amazing. But here we are. I got my fishbowl, as somebody called it.
It is a fishbowl.
It's like a wine glass to me, man.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Kirsty Wedgerfield.
Ooh, awesome.
Kirsty.
Awesome.
Congrats, Kirsty. I know Kirsty.
Awesome, Kirsty.
Kirsty, congrats.
That
She
is
will put
awesome.
those books to good use.
So cool.
Well, listen, this is, I've been looking forward to this one ever since Natalie asked me, hey, do you want to do a class on love? I said, yes, I do. I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to having Susan back on. I love you, Susan.
I love you.
Such a light. One of the things that I do know, there's a lot that I don't know. But one thing I do know is that I can pick up on a good heart and light and love and positive energy. And that's just you, Susan. I'm so grateful that we met, and I'm so grateful that you're still in our life. And I'm so grateful for all the amazing things that you're doing. And we're going to be friends for the rest of our life. And if you guys don't know Susan Hum and Steel Rose and everything that she's working on, you should follow her, get to know who Susan is. She's just an amazing, amazing person to have in your sphere of influence. And also be very careful about the people that you surround yourself with, because you want to surround yourself with people that are going to speak love and light and possibility into you, and not people that say, oh, that stuff's a bunch of hogwash. I had some lady a couple of days ago said this was all bullshit, and I feel bad because I feel bad
She's
that
struggling. So that's why we feel bad, because it's like we don't want people to struggle, but it's a choice. We all have a choice.
So Susan, we love you. And we're so
Thank
thankful
you
that
so
you took time out of your life to be with us today.
No, I really, your story is so amazing. And I literally, I'm so privileged to have sat there and seen it. And this is what I live for. This is what love is abundance, and it's not about finding a romantic partner. It's about falling in love with yourself and really falling in love with yourself, and that's what it's all about.
And I love how you said, this was the key to my abundance. It's so funny because as a businesswoman trying to achieve wealth and opportunities and all that sort of thing, when I connected this way, all of a sudden I felt this strength inside of me that I never felt before. And when women, here's the thing, when women step into their pleasure, oh, it's freaking powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Step into your pleasure.
All the good stuff that I really wants to hear. That'll be for another time.
Oh, I could go into that one, but yes.
This weekend, Natalie and I are going to plan another session. We're going
on Saturday. So on Saturday at 10 a.m., if you want the Zoom link, please reach out to your success advisor. It's all going to be, it's going to actually be, you're going to be a panelist in a Zoom. It's going to be a private Zoom. We are going to uncover what your actual money paradigms are, because it's not about the money. It's the energy behind the money you need to figure out, right? And it's causing a lot of marital issues, and it's blocking a lot of people from living the life they truly want. So it's a good one to be part of. But we're also going to include a Q&A.
Yeah,
That's
we're going to give you the
well.
opportunity to hit us with the tough questions. We're very transparent. We have nothing to hide. We want you guys to know that we do care, and we're not afraid. Nobody really wants to talk about dirty laundry, but listen, we'll air it out. I mean, any questions that you guys have. I mean, I've made way more than my fair share of mistakes, and I don't mind. You can go uncover any dirt on me you want to. That's the past. That's not who I am anymore. But if anybody has any questions about anything, we're here. You can ask intimate questions about our relationship. Listen, we are here because we want to be real. There's people that have questions that they never ask, and then they go through their whole life, and we don't want that to be you. So this will be a safe place. It'll be open forum. If you want to turn your cameras on, you can. If you don't, you don't have to.
Yeah, and I'm French Canadian, so there's nothing you could tell me about sex or question about sex that would, oh, I can't believe it. Trust me. Anybody that knows me out there, yes, absolutely.
Let's put it this way, I got way more than
I
I bargained for in that department. I wrote that on my vision board.
That's what happens, right, Susan? You always get more. You do.
You know, I'm collaborating with an incredible lady named Heather Montgomery, who has just built a multi-million-dollar technology platform called Please Me. And it's teaching women sex healthy and sex positiveness. And that's really important in the work that I do, because we women have to love ourselves in all ways possible. And we can't look for the man to please us, because if we don't know how to please ourselves, then that man's hitting an armor.
Hey, you know what, Susan? Maybe we should do that in my woman's group. Me, you, and bring that.
Yeah.
Bring
and this platform, you can
Can I get in on that one?
No, it's for men too. The platform's for everybody, and it's you go in anonymously, and it's for you to explore your sexuality. And I think in the world of personal development, we've taken away from our heart and our body, and too much in our head. It's time to just let that shit go and have that freaking lobotomy for 5 minutes and please yourself. So anyways, I won't go into that. I'm not a sex expert by far.
It's been your pleasure.
All
right.
On now we're getting to good stuff just in time for the ending. So if you guys want to dance on Saturday, come on down. You're the next contestant on Let's Make a Love Call.
All right.
I love you guys. Honestly,
love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I'm coming upstairs. Right.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.